You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 687.
We believe in the American way, and we built this country called the USA, and we fly our flag because we're proud and free, we're Americans. Red, white, and blue is our way of life. We never back down from a challenge or a fight. Nature provides, God gives the rights, we're Americans. We fish the waters and we hunt the lands. We forge the steel with our own two hands. With what we've got, we do the best we can. We're Americans.
This is Rio of Madison Rising, and you're listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. Now, here's Grouchy.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Here we are sitting second week into January. We got a lot going on. Not a lot of big stuff, but there's a lot of things that are happening. Some things, you've heard them all. Bannon's out at Breitbart. Bannon is also out at SiriusXM. If you didn't know that, he will no longer be hosting any shows on their network. We got the great offshore drilling debate going on here between Trump and governors. Let's see, we had an earthquake in the Caribbean yesterday, triggered a tsunami warning, which was later canceled. Let's see, what else is going on? SpaceX was launching a government satellite, and that whole thing went bupkis, and that satellite is now scrapped, basically. I'm sure that was only a few $1 billion. Let's see, what else is going on? Oh, yeah. One of the big lesser stories that I wanted to touch on, Seattle, our friends out in the Northwest. Yeah, they have, the city of Seattle has decided to impose a sugary beverage tax within the city with the hopes of raising $15 million in revenue from it. They say it'll be used to help programs that help people have better access to fresh fruits and vegetables. Okay. $15 million for that, huh? So the tax they are imposing is 1.75 cents per ounce on sugary drinks. So you probably saw the pictures earlier this week of Costco hanging up the new price signs that show the breakdown of why it costs so much now. I think this was that a 24 pack. A 24 pack of Gatorade Frost at Costco was $15.99. Because of the number of ounces in the drink, the price went up $10.34 to a now $26.33 for the same pack of drinks, just simply because it's a sweetened beverage, and they're calling this a quote-unquote recovery fee. I don't know what they're pretending to recover. You would think it's the people paying the tax that need to recover just from the shock of it. But, you know, as with all excise taxes, this one is also easily avoided. Customers can visit Costco stores in nearby Tukwila, I think I'm saying that right, or Shoreline, and skip paying the city of Seattle's beverage tax. Customers are less likely to make extra inconvenient trips if the price changes are barely noticeable, of course. But with such a steep price change, many residents will take the extra trip. I mean, let's face it, if it's only a few miles, $10 on one pack of Gatorade will more than pay for your trip. So some are saying they will switch to diet soda instead, which city officials say is the point. According to KIRO, not necessarily to switch to diet soda, but to get consumers to move to healthier options. The position the tax advocates take is oddly contradictory, as Scott Drenkard of the Tax Foundation summarized on Twitter. First, they interview people at Costco who are rightfully shocked at how high prices on soda and sports drinks are now, saying that they've nearly doubled. Then they interview a public health advocate who says, that's right, we want these prices to change people's behavior and slow sales. Then they talk to the consumer. Think you'll change your behavior, maybe even shop somewhere else? And she's like, yeah, the Tukwila store is close enough. Then they ask a city council member if this will hurt local businesses, who says there is no data suggesting that. Then the same public health advocate says that people won't respond to price increases shopping elsewhere because it isn't worth their while. Now, if advocates are truly concerned about public health and want people to change their behavior by consuming sugarless beverages, then the tax will indeed slow down sales and hurt local businesses. It has to, because that's the only way it will actually induce people to lower their calories, assuming that you believe that this particular model of, business that the city is setting up will work. The government doesn't actually want everyone to switch away from sugary drinks, or it won't be able to collect the $15 million that it's hoping for. That's why using the tax code to punish or reward behavior is tragically short-sighted. Government attempts to disincentivize certain behavior often have subversive effects beyond forcing people to take longer trips to purchase sugar-free brands or sugared brands. The point of these policies is to drastically reduce usage, but while the pricing cuts demand, it also fuels smuggling and black markets. And, you might laugh at this, but there's literally becoming an illegal underground trade in soda. Philadelphia has already experienced this. They had similar issues when similar taxes were introduced a couple of years ago. In New York, these type of sin taxes led to stratospheric taxes on cigarettes, which buoyed an underground black market in loosies. And these are, the people buy cigarettes and they break the pack open and they sell them one at a time. You can buy 1, 2, 4, whatever, less than a pack. This is the same. This is what Eric Garner was doing. If you remember Eric Garner, the man who was killed resisting arrest, the police choked him down to get him handcuffed, and he died subsequently because he didn't want to go to jail. His action was selling loose cigarettes, and it was only a crime because of these tight policies. Overregulation by government. And this includes the city of Seattle, and they should avoid creating similar situations, in my opinion. So anyway, like I said, that was one of the bigger, lesser known stories. I wanted to hit on that, and we end up dedicating almost a whole segment to it. But that's okay because it's important. We need to be aware of these things. Go back to Cook County, Illinois. Cook County also passed a sugary drink tax at one point. And literally within just a couple of months of having passed it, they were already meeting to repeal it because of the public outrage. Cook County commissioners voted 15-1 to repeal it, where it passed 9-8, I think it was, or 9-7 or something like that. It narrowly passed, but it was repealed almost unanimously. And literally after just a couple of months, the people were so outraged by it. So anyway, lesson to be learned. We shall see what happens with Seattle and see how they do. They seem to go to a different, the beat of a different drum out there. Not quite as odd as Berkeley, California, but certainly working on their own reputation in that right. But we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens. And we'll see if the people of Seattle have enough of that crap and decide to take it out on their city government. So, the first big story that I wanted to touch on, and I say it's a big story. Most of my stories aren't big stories, but they're news stories you need to know about. So, anyway, the federal government, I know, all of our favorite topic, right? The federal government. Anyway, they employed 16,000 fewer people in December of 2017 than they did in December of 2016, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, state governments employed 19,000 fewer people in December 2017 than they did in 2016. However, overall government employment in the United States increased by a net 42,000 because of 77,000 jobs added by local governments from December 2016 to 2017. These are county and city government jobs that were added. Now, most of those are worker positions, their secretaries, their road people, their maintenance people and things of that nature. Not that I condone the bloating of government, but I would much rather see working people working than bureaucrats just sucking up more money. It's an ugly sword, I know, but it is what it is. So anyway, the federal government in December 2016 employed 2.819 million people, and that number has dropped to 2.803, a decrease of 16,000. State government, they had the decrease of 19,000. So the 50 states employed back in 2016 5,085,000 people, and that number it is what it is. With federal and state governments dropping a combined 35,000 employees and local governments adding 77, that gets your net increase of 42,000, climbing from 22,299,000 in December of 2016 to 22,341,000 in December of 17. In the years since 1939, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, federal employment in December peaked in 1988 when it hit 3.156 million people. Now, President Trump has said since he won the election that government was going to do more with less. So honestly, on the federal side, I look for this trend to continue. I don't know if it'll be as marked a change. Not that 16,000 is huge, but if we get 16,000 more next year and 16,000 more the next year, you get the idea. Here's what it boils down to, though. And this is the part that really hits home with me, is 16,000 doesn't sound like a lot. But when you factor the average salary of a federal civilian worker, okay, and according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that average federal civilian worker is paid $88,809 a year. This is So anyway, 16,000 people at an average of $88,809 a year is $1.42 billion. Now, I can't tell you where that $1.42 billion went, but it didn't go to paying bloated government salaries. Now, does that mean it didn't go to a bloated government program? No, it doesn't, because, again, I don't know where it went. But we know that it's $1.42 billion less. I think that what we're going to see moving forward is that I think Trump's going to end up having to look for ways to pay for his wall from savings and not have necessarily the Democrats buy into. That is what it is too. So we shall see. Moving on, page 2, as it were. Roughly 200,000 people could have to leave the U.S. or face deportation as the Trump administration announced it's ending special protection for Salvadoran immigrants. So this came out on Monday. Many people from El Salvador have been in the U.S. under temporary protected status a designation that allows certain nations' citizens to remain in America due to a variety of safety concerns. But that temporary status will end in 2019, according to the Department of Homeland Security. I think they're being awfully generous with the timeline. Right now, El Salvador is by far the largest beneficiary of this program, according to the Associated Press. And just to give you an idea of what temporary protected status actually is, it is a special designation that provides humanitarian relief for foreigners whose countries are hit with unsafe conditions, such as natural disasters or wars. These protections could be granted to TPS can also be granted to immigrants who are already in the United States. Circumstances that could warrant TPS include ongoing armed conflict, civil war, environmental disaster, or some type of epidemic. Those who have TPS status cannot be detained by Homeland Security because of his or her immigration status. These individuals are also not removable from the U.S. They can receive travel authorization. Many immigrants have since established in 2019, Homeland Security Kristen Nielsen said Monday, giving immigrants 18 months to leave the country or face deportation. Now, you might ask, why would the Trump administration cut this out? Well, DHS said that the decision to terminate TPS for Salvadoran immigrants was made following a review of the situation that prompted the initial designation. So what they're telling us basically is that there have been no further review. Go home. The unsafe conditions caused by the 2001 earthquakes are no longer an issue, said DHS. A significant amount of by Nielsen's predecessor, then acting Secretary Elaine Duke, about 50,000 Haitians are required to leave the U.S. or adjust their legal status by July of 2019. Duke also ended protections for Nicaraguans, giving some 2,500 people until January of 2019 to make a decision about their futures. And last year, the Trump administration extended status for South Sudanese, and it ended it for Sudan. Other countries still covered are Honduras, Nepal, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen. Page 3. Yeah, I know. I like the old Paul Harvey. I miss him. Tell you what. Hey, Rick, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up?
I figured since I'm at the end of the story, let's go ahead and burn the commercial break a minute or two early, and we'll just come back and start fresh on a new story.
All right. Already got you queued up. One sec.
Sound cool? All right, man. Let's roll it.
Oh, but ain't that America? You and me, ain't that America? Something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
But ain't that America? You and me, ain't that America? Something to see, baby. Ain't that America? Home of the free, yeah.
All right, welcome back. We are here. You are there. That's how it's supposed to be. Programming reminder coming up next. Jesse's POV, followed by the Stafford voice. You've already heard America Off the Rails, and if you didn't tune in to Rick with America Off the Rails and you're expecting him later, you have missed the boat for a while now, because he is now on before me, not as the nightcap. So adjust your schedule accordingly and make the proper adjustment and get your butt in line how you should be. All right, so when we left off, we were flipping to the next page, And we're going to talk a little border wall. Yeah, because it's fun. That's why. So, President Trump's current border wall proposal would cost about $18 billion over the next 10 years. And that's according to an estimate from U.S. Customs and Border Protection sent to members of Congress just a week ago. The Trump administration is asking Congress for nearly $18 billion to construct more than 700 miles of new and replacement barriers along the southwest border. Its most detailed description yet of the president's vision of a wall separating the U.S. from Mexico. That $18 billion that everybody is so inflamed over works out to 0.0338%, or just a hair over 1/3 of 1% of the $53.1 trillion that the Congressional Budget Office is currently estimating the federal government will spend over the same 10-year period. Folks, that's nothing. That's nothing. But this is, this is what they get at. This is what they get at. They talk about how it's such a waste of money. It also equals only 2.7% of the money the federal government will spend on the program over the next 10 years. So, and that they're estimating now, get this, okay, so this is their estimate. The CBO says $679 billion in food stamps over the next 10 years. Anybody else want to raise their hand with me and call a load of male bovine excrement on that? We know that number's low. That number will be eaten alive. Just like their estimates on Obamacare were eaten alive, all in the wrong directions. Every time they posted an estimate from CBO on the Affordable Care Act, they missed the mark badly. And never to the good side. So the $679 billion that the CBO estimates the federal government will spend on food stamps during that 10 years is 37.7 times as much as the $18 billion it would spend on the border wall. At the same time, the $18 billion required for the border wall would equal a mere 0.34% of that budget. Yeah, we covered that already. Why did I write that twice? I don't know. Maybe I was tired. While the nation is preparing to spend a total of $6.838 trillion on national defense over the next would like to see dedicated to funding a wall is equal to only 0.25% of that. Senate Democratic Whip Dick Durbin criticized the administration's proposal to spend $18 billion over the next decade building a border wall, suggesting it could lead to a government shutdown this month. They would shut down the government over 1/3 of 1%. President Trump has said he may need a good government shutdown to get his wall. With this demand, he seems to be heading in that direction, Durbin said in a statement. There would be a government shutdown over the wall if Senate Democrats, who are in the minority, blocked the new bill needed to fund the federal government when the law currently funding the federal government expires on January 19th. $1.78 trillion in the next 10 years. Folks, that's disgraceful. That's just absolutely disgraceful. The federal government has, never mind. Never mind. We don't need to go backwards like that. We just don't. Look, I want to be part of the problem, or I want to be part of the solution, not the problem. So I'll keep that part to myself, and we'll flip on to the next story here. It's related to the wall, so it kind of ties in here. So, according to the Department of Homeland Security on Tuesday, there was a 40% drop in the number of border apprehensions last year compared to 2016. Now, the Border Patrol caught 351,084 people who tried to illegally cross, compared to 614,739 in 2016. Now, border apprehension figures are used as the best indicator for the number of illegal crossing attempts. In a statement, DHS touted the numbers, saying the statistics, particularly at the southern border, undeniably prove the effectiveness of President Trump's commitment to securing the borders. Compared to the previous administration, and emphasized the apprehensions were at the lowest level in 45 years. However, the number of apprehensions has shown an increase, and the 40,500 caught in December were the highest total since Trump's first full month in office, although 58,000 detentions in December of 2016. DHS statement emphasized that the significant increase over the last month in the number of family units and unaccompanied children coming across the border illegally highlights the dire need for Congress to immediately adopt responsible pro-American immigration reforms. I agree with that. I agree with that statement. We do need to do that. The statement added, current loopholes in our immigration laws have created an incentive for illegal immigrants who knowingly exploit these same loopholes to take advantage of our generosity. I agree with that too. The Secretary will require fixes to these loopholes as part of any immigration package negotiated today at the White House. So hopefully we're going to finally get something worked out on immigration here. You guys, you should know where I stand by now. If you're new to the show, message me on Twitter. We can have that discussion sidebarred. I'm not going to burn Showtime up for that. But, it's time. It's time we get this whole immigration thing restrictions and reforms to limit the potential for abuse. Earmarks send taxpayer dollars to projects in lawmakers' districts outside the competitive process required for other federal spending. See, cha-ching. This is how the brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws and uncles and nieces and nephews all get their nice big government contracts. Right, Nancy Pelosi? Right, Barbara Boxer? Yeah, their husbands know. Anyway, House Republicans banned earmarks when they retook the House in 2011. Top Republicans, led by then Speaker John Boehner, argued that they corrupted lawmakers and legislation simply to shovel taxpayer money back home. It was common, for instance, to solicit campaign donations from those who received the earmarks, as well as the lobbyists who advocated for. Former Representative Randy Cunningham of California took bribes in exchange for earmarks and spent 7 years in prison. There's widespread support among lawmakers to revive earmarks, though with safeguards to avoid a repeat of the problems of the past. Speaker Paul Ryan did not seem sympathetic when asked having a comeback. Okay, I can appreciate that. Ryan playing ever so much the fence straddler. Ryan was actually central to squelching an effort a year ago to revive earmarks. Groups opposing earmarks swiftly attacked the idea of their return, saying that bringing back earmarks is the antithesis of draining the swamp. And that was David McIntosh, who's the president of the Club for Growth, whose group helps finance campaigns of staunch conservatives. Earmarks will only benefit the special interests that grow government at the expense of working men and women, he said. Since the ban was imposed, however, known as omnibus measures. You should do it, and I'm there with you because this system really lends itself to not getting along, Trump said. Is holding hearings next week on the topic. Chairman Pete Sessions of Texas is sympathetic to the return of earmarks, but said the hearings would help identify ways to reform the process. So there you have that. Earmarks, no earmarks. I mean, what do you think? What do you think? Do your homework. I preach it constantly. If you're not familiar, if you're fairly new to being interested in politics, go back and look at the old earmark system, okay? Information along with some opinion, but it's just opinion. I'm not an expert. Anyway. Next up, providers' religious beliefs. Now, this decision is going to keep that law in place for the foreseeable future. The case religious beliefs or moral convictions. It also protects private businesses and people from being sued if they deny services to LGBTQIA people based on their religious beliefs. The law provides protections for 3 religious beliefs. 1, that marriage is between a man and a woman. 2, sexual relations are properly reserved to such a marriage. And 3, one's gender is determined by anatomy and genetics at the time of birth. Now, it could be. I don't know of any religion that specifically outlines one's gender and its determination, but I don't know everything about every. The Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled last year the plaintiffs failed to show how they have been or will be harmed by the law and reversed an injunction that blocked the law from ensuring that Mississippians don't live in fear of losing their careers or their businesses simply for affirming marriage as a husband-wife union. That statement was from Kevin Theriot, Senior Counsel for Alliance Defending Freedom. Those who haven't been and won't be harmed by this law shouldn't be allowed to restrict freedom for others by ensuring dissenters are left open to the government discrimination that has already occurred in states without protective laws like this one. Now, opponents of the law are worried it would lead to discrimination of the LGBTQ. They overturned this harmful law, even though they haven't shown any harm. And in any state where anti-gay legislators pass laws to roll back LGBTQIA rights, said Beth Luttrell, counsel in the Southern Regional Office of Lambda Legal. Yes, not the Tri-Lambs, but Lambda Legal.
Lambda. Sorry, I had to.
Thank you. I was waiting for it. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court's decision today leaves, wow, I hate the wording of this. Okay, so this Lambda Legal says that the unfortunate Supreme Court ruling on not hearing the case leaves LGBTQIA people in Mississippi in the crosshairs of hate and humiliation, delaying justice and equality. Again, they've shown no hate, they've shown no harm. Where does the humiliation come in?
I gotta say, these Lambda people might not be the Tri-Lambs, but they sound like nerds. Sorry.
Yeah. Nerds! That's right. Ah, man. Where's my meme? You can't hear a meme on the radio. I might have to dress Seymour up and get him to scream like that. Anyway. Yeah, he's shaking his head no.
For that, you might actually have to start paying him.
What's that?
Said for that, you might actually have to start paying him.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the last thing I want to do is pay him. It's bad enough I got to feed him. But all right, we're going to wrap it up here. Last hit. Democratic Senators Kamala Harris, oh, she's a gem, and Cory Booker, another gem, have been appointed to the Senate Judiciary Committee. Okay, now if you don't know what the Judiciary Committee does, they oversee the confirmation of federal judges, including the Supreme Court, and nominations to the Department of Justice. Now, isn't that cool? Two people who couldn't give a damn less about somebody's qualifications for a position like that have been put in a position to affirm or deny those positions. The committee has not had a black senator as a member since the 1990s, and Booker of New Jersey will be the first black male to join. Harris of California is the first black female on the committee since Senator Carol Moseley Braun of Illinois. She held the seat in the 90s. Harris will replace Al Franken, Handsy Al Franken, who announced his resignation last year following allegations and photographs of sexual misconduct. Yeah, they didn't add the "and" photographs. I did that because I've seen the photographs. They exist. It's not an allegation when there's photographic evidence of it. The Trump administration, this is a great comment here. Who said this? Oh, Cory Booker. Cory Booker said, the Trump administration has repeatedly demonstrated its hostility to the ideals of civil rights and equal justice for all. As a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, I will make it my mission to check and balance President Trump and Attorney General Sessions. Hello, Cory Booker. Signing paperwork to campaign for 2020? You know, these people just, I don't know. We don't have time to do the last DACA story. It would take too long. Let's back up a second here. I think I skipped something we can touch on. Oh, that was the Bannon stuff. We already covered Bannon. Bannon got the boot, in case you missed it earlier. He's gone from Breitbart. He's gone from XM Sirius. Bannon is homeless. Bannon is jobless. And when I say homeless, I mean like in a affiliation position. I am sure that he'll land a nice paying gig as a consultant somewhere. But this is a guy who's shot himself in the foot, I believe. I really do. You know, it is what it is. He's Bannon. Anyway, want to remind you, coming up right after me, Jesse's POV, followed by the Stafford Voice to cap your night off. It's Wednesday. TV sucks. Do yourself a favor and stay right here. Spend the night with us. Not the whole night, just the next couple hours. But if you like the show, tell your friends. If your friends like the show, you need new ones. But they and you are welcome here every week with me on KLRN Radio for the Conservative Curmudgeon Show. Thank you. God bless. That's your cue, Rick.
Yeah, Spreaker's being retarded. Don't blame me.
Ain't that America? Something to see, baby.